Welcome, everyone, to the MMOs.com podcast. We're on episode 33 now, and this is Altai, joined this week by...
Omer?
Big Gumble.
Matt?
All right, and we are on cam. It's a new year. It's a new podcast, all right?
It is a new year. How was everyone's new year, guys?
It was pretty good. You know what? I'm finally on Obamacare. And the
Thanks,
day after,
Obama.
The day after I got sick, and I've been sick ever since. So, yeah, really, thanks, Obama is right.
You're an adult now. How does that feel?
It sucks. It really sucks.
Well, also, is it New Year or New Years? Is it plural or singular? I'm kind of lost on this one. I need a definitive answer.
It should be singular, right? Because it's only one new year.
Everyone says Happy New Year's.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know why.
I think it's an apostrophe. It's possessive.
It's very possessive.
Well, New Year's Eve. Like, it's the eve of the new year. So it belongs to the new year.
Yeah, that would be possessive.
But they say Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
Are they referring to New Year's Eve? Like, are you only allowed to be happy on New Year's Eve and the rest of the year has to be miserable?
Yes.
Is that what they're implying?
I mean, that's exactly how it is, isn't it?
I guess.
I'm miserable right now. Is it everyone?
So what do you guys all do for New Year's? Let's get that out of the way real quick. Anything special? Anything cute?
No.
No. No. I like it.
I saw some people, and then before midnight, I was like, man, I want to go to sleep.
Whoa, you weren't even awake for the...
No, I was. I
All
did
right.
stay up. But I was sick.
I watched Rockin' New Year's Eve have everything in across the country, but
What's rocking New Year's Eve?
you haven't watched Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve ever?
I have not either.
Yeah.
Is Dick Clark still alive?
No, he's dead now, and Ryan Seacrest took over.
Oh, I didn't even know he was alive. Or irrelevant. Jeez.
All right, back. let's go directly to...
One last thing.
One
All
last
right.
thing.
Real men celebrate their New Year's by clicking on their Windows clock on the bottom right and just staring at that year change from 2015 to 2016, all right? We see all the other numbers change. That one's a once-in-a-year phenomenon, all right?
And if it doesn't change, you run to your underground bunker in the backyard.
Yeah, I don't know, guys.
You know
Y2K
Y2K
struck me pretty hard. I still haven't recovered.
I don't know. It's still pretty weird watching every website suddenly put 2015 after all the dates. I'm like, damn, it's a new year.
On that note, I'm pretty sure on the bottom of MMOs.com at this very second, it says copyright MMOs.com 2015.
Well, that's it. You guys can copy everything on the site now. It's off copyright.
It's off copyright. It's a free-for-all. What's funny is for like my other websites, I would always put like copyright and like I'll put like 2019 just so like it's a few years away, so I don't have to worry about it.
There's actually a code you can put in there that auto-updates, but it's probably just laggy.
No, yeah, there's a PHP code that does auto-update,
Yeah.
but it adds one extra layer of PHP code.
Yep.
But obviously that can be cached in and it won't really lag, but it's my excuse for not updating it.
It's pretty good. Pretty good
So-
excuse there.
MMO news, guys.
All right, there's big news we got to cover first. The
All right, what's your-
bombshell of the week.
What's that?
All right, the bombshell of the week is Albion Online is not going to be free to play.
Oh, and this is after they decided, wait a minute, people are buying our Founders Packs to play in the alpha or beta, whatever they're at. So they're like, let's keep doing this.
Do you think that was the actual reaction? It was the Founders Packs. How many Founders Packs did they sell?
60,000.
60,000.
And then they saw the money come in.
They must have played a part. I mean,
Yeah, it played a part.
I don't know. I think I've looked at the game and I've seen it's pretty like devoid of like far-reaching activities. Like you've got core gameplay, but there's not like much else there. And I think they looked at that and they played it and they're like, people are buying our Founders Pack and we've got like this bare bones game and probably no value to it. So I don't know. I think there's more to it.
I think that explains also, obviously, along with being no longer free to play, they extend the closed beta until at least August 1st, 2016. So that's like another,
Wow.
8 months?
It's quite a lot longer than I expected.
So that answers the question about the game being incomplete, because obviously they want to release it. I mean, when did you get so much money and you sell so many Founders Packs, obviously they feel an obligation to the players to make something better. But the sudden shift just seems kind of like out of left field.
It is a little out of left field, but they also said that they don't really want to deal with the bullshit that comes along with free-to-play releases. Like
They didn't know this like before when they first.
well, yeah, a
announced
lot of
free-to-play?
people have said that. A lot of people have said that, and it's fair. But like the whole thing is also maybe they really didn't realize the impact until they saw that people were actually taking an interest in the game.
Doesn't it also have, when we played at least, a pretty robust cash shop where you could buy currency at least?
They're still gonna have a cash shop, even though it's buy to play.
Well,
They
hopefully it's toned down. If it's at all pay to win at the moment, I'm not really sure. Well, not pay to win, but if it's extraneous pay for convenience.
They might ease it up because they're getting an initial fee. We still don't know how much it's going to cost initially. I mean, it could go down to $10 by the time it's released.
I doubt.
Will it be worth the money if you've played the game right now? You'll know. It's hard to determine because you kind of have to pay to find out if you're going to like it or not. That's
you guys are missing a key, the elephant in the room here. Okay.
What's that? What's the elephant?
So this game says it's cross-platform, right? So you can play it on your tablet, your iOS thing, or Android, right? Yeah. Or your PC. See, when I hear that, it filters to me as we're trying to sell you a mobile game for a full price, right? 20 plus.
Yeah.
I ain't buying that. All right, so it's not worth it.
Okay. Also,
as a free-to-play game with microtransactions, as every other mobile game, that makes sense. But as a game I got to pay $20 for, so I can play the equivalent of a mobile game, no thanks.
Okay, but we don't know what the full price is gonna be. It could be like $10. It could be $20.
I don't see it being 10.
And also, I think for sure what they're doing is they're delaying it, right? But I think it's gonna be free to play later because if you look at their road to release, they said they're gonna put the free to play plans on hold.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, I think it's going to transition back to free to play later.
That's code for we want to leave the door open after maybe a year after release if things go bad.
One thing that you guys are forgetting is that the whole mobile stereotype and mobile games are dumbed down is kind of dying out. They've got full-fledged first-person shooters on mobile now. They've got full-fledged MMORPGs with rotating skill bars that you can tap buttons on. I mean,
yeah, but I'm not paying for those either. I'm a big defender of mobile, but in that platform, I think free to play with transactions, microtransactions is the way to go.
But that's still a stereotype.
Well,
is it?
99% of games on mobile are free to play, and the highest grossing games are always free to play too. So from a monetization standpoint, they can make more money as a free to play game as well.
Maybe. Discoverability is also low.
As a free to play game, discoverability is low.
Yes, on mobile.
There's a lot of friction.
So wait, do you raise the what's it called? Visibility by putting a price on it? I don't think so.
You have a higher chance of getting into the top paid apps than you do the top free-to-play apps.
All right, I guess.
All right, but let's be real. When I open up my app store on my iPhone, for example, if I see the top paid apps, I immediately gloss over because I'm like, what am I, an asshole paying for mobile apps? No. We're going right to the free-to-play.
I think we had this talk once. Has anyone ever paid for a mobile app? I think someone paid for one fitness one or something.
Monument Valley.
There you go.
Okay, back in the I paid for one app. Back in the old days of iPhones, and in order to play certain files, I had to buy a shitty player on the store. It was $2 because the default player required all this codec nonsense. It required me to convert to MP4s that I didn't want to do. So I got this stupid player and it worked, but it was a process.
Thanks, Apple, for making great products.
Well, I mean, it's better now, obviously, but still. But I'm not a fan of the system. I think. Also, there was a controversy around this as well because a lot of people felt like a lot of people that bought the Founders Packs felt like they were promised a free-to-play game, and that's why they bought the Founders Pack. Do you think these people are entitled to refunds?
I think they're getting more value for their money now if it's going to be buy-to-play because they're getting the same items plus they're getting the game.
Okay. However, what if it's subscription-based? Because they didn't clarify.
I think if it were going to be a subscription, they would have clarified that initially.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a subscription.
But hypothetically, let's say it's subscription. They definitely deserve a refund then.
Hypothetically, when they announce it, then they deserve the refund, but not now.
Not now either. I mean, it's still. I feel like they changed the product a lot. What if, let's say, I bought the Founders Pack, knowing that I'm going to play with my friend who didn't buy the Founders Pack, and he's only going to play if it's free. I think he's got a pretty legitimate concern, doesn't he?
Not really, because he's already bought the Founders Pack. He already gets to continue playing the game for free.
Yes, but he bought the Founders Pack under the promise that it was a free-to-play game. They changed the product on it.
A Founders Pack is a Founders Pack a promise of a finished product, or is a Founders Pack simply supporting a concept subject to change?
You're told the game is free, and then it's not.
A founder's pack is a promise of items for a game. It's not a promise of a business model.
No, but
you're still getting those items.
The business model was advertised to everybody on the website, and they pulled a switcheroo.
It's in development. I mean, they can protect themselves by saying it was under development the whole time, and they've done this before with other games.
What are the games?
Oh, go ahead.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Right, but it just obviously I understand it's on the development title, but I think that they should just say if you want a refund, you get a refund. That way nobody can really complain. Right now, people are complaining. I've seen on that YouTube video.
They'd be giving away 50,000 refunds.
No, but
I just don't think there's anything to complain about. You know, if they're playing it now, they've got the game, they're not going to have to pay anything more. They might even have to pay less for the items in the cash shop because of the new business model. So I really don't think there's anything to complain about. They have friends that could complain about it.
But they bought the game to play with their friends, and their friends don't want to pay for the buy-to-play model, and they don't play together.
Then their friends are contributing to the game dying.
Well, it's like listen. I got an example. All right. Your friends want to go bowling with you, all right? So you're told that the bowling alley's free, okay? And you get there. Let's say you bought some shoes there one day, and you got VIP status there, so they give you free drinks, all right? But it's free for everybody else. And you bring all your friends there, and they tell you, sorry, all your friends have to pay to play now. Is that fair?
No.
That's a pretty shitty example, by the way,
but it feels like a no.
It ended yesterday. So, I mean, if you say it ended yesterday, then you still aren't going to be mad. You're just going to be like, oh, crap, I missed it.
But they didn't tell anybody it was going to end yesterday.
But they told it before it released now. They're telling them now, like months before it's releasing.
But the guy who bought the Founders Pack deserves a refund if he wants one. Also, let's be real. How many people actually do want a refund? I don't think that many. I think if Albion Online wants to play their cards correctly and be viewed as the good guy, they should offer refunds.
They probably would if you email them and ask, like privately, and not bitch on a forum.
But this is the internet. We love to bitch in public. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm bitching in public.
All right, guys. I want to make a connection here. So while watching this trailer on the stream for Albion, you know what I was thought of? It looks like kinda, to me at least. It looks like.
I can guess.
What?
Is it gonna be RuneScape?
It's RuneScape. Look at RuneScape. This is RuneScape
wow.
3, or it's their new engine, whatever. This game turned 15 years old yesterday. All right, wow. and to be fair, this is basically a pay-to-play game. RuneScape. There's a free version, but it's pretty limited.
Yeah.
It's basically Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, in terms of what you can do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the limitation. Yeah, sure. But my point is, so that's what I'm saying. Albion is not at least graphically that advanced. It's like I said earlier. It's a mobile-esque game.
You don't have to. A lot of games have proven to us today that you don't need to have like great graphics to be successful. And obviously, RuneScape is a great example. Tibia is an example. These old games still do really well.
They run on anything.
Yeah, and on the topic of old games, I gotta throw in a video over here if you guys are okay with it. A little bit of transition.
Transition us away.
This reminded me of this actually. If you look at the old League of Legends graphics, it proves that you don't need good graphics to do really well because this grew to quickly become.
Oh my God, this was disgusting. I remember
the most successful PC game in the world. All right, and just take a look at these awful graphics, including the awful loading screen. Club Penguin is another example. There you go.
It doesn't look that much better now.
Yes, are you kidding me?
The UI looks Duke in this, but the actual graphics look pretty much the same.
The actual graphics still look better. Obviously, they kept the system requirements on the low end. They just polished it up a lot.
I don't know. Anyway, back to RuneScape. Did you guys ever play RuneScape back in the day?
Yes.
For about an hour, and then somebody killed me in the wilds, and I quit.
Did you have a RuneScape girlfriend? Want to buy a girlfriend?
RuneScape harem. All the ladies.
But what Matt was saying with the wilderness and stuff, right? Even RuneScape, which today is like chided as like this kids game, right?
Yeah. Was
so much more hardcore, immersive, full MMORPG experience than anything we're getting today. Any new game, at least.
Yeah, and it was also more ambitious. This is a lot more you could do, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was crafting, there was skill system progression, not just levels. I guess you could level up individual skills, right?
Yeah. It wasn't so much as rails. You could kind of like now games just take you from point A to point B to point C. It's very linear, the progression. So
RuneScape had that Elder Scrolls mentality. If you're gonna collect bananas, you're gonna be the best banana picker on the whole world. So, which I always enjoyed because that's some hardcore grind.
Shu couldn't make it this week.
She's sick, so
Yeah.
She was very sick. She was so sick she can't even own kids in CS:GO. So that's bedridden status.
we probably should have started with that just in case people are
Probably,
curious.
yeah.
It's all right. They probably connected the dots, seeing that her avatar wasn't on here.
Well, speaking of grinding in games, just to transition us out, I want to talk about the Tree of Savior Korean launch, which has been met with quite a bit of controversy, even leading to a in-game protest. The
cheesy.
cash shop, yeah, a little cheesy. It was cute. It was cute. Basically, they released cash shop prices. And some of the hairstyles in the game cost about $30 US.
I think it was 17 to 25, according to Step Power, but still, very high.
Yeah, purchasing hairstyle costs roughly 17 and 25 respectively for each hairstyle.
Yep.
Also, there were some trading things that are limited, so you couldn't list as many items in the auction house unless you paid for it, XP boosts and whatnot. But I think the protest, even beyond just the ridiculous cash out prices, had to do with the number of bugs in the game. You have a open beta project, and it's still riddled with the same bugs that have been in the game since its initial testing.
One of the biggest complaints was they didn't really optimize the game for launch between closed beta and open beta. They basically didn't make any changes then, apparently, accused, allegedly, which made a very botched launch.
Isn't that like every game? I never noticed the difference between closed and open beta.
Also, the idea of a botched launch in MMORPGs has become so it's a part of the MMORPG experience. If you want a shitty, buggy game at launch, just play any game at launch, right? It's unplayable, it's laggy. It's a part of the experience.
That's
a lot
true.
of players do see it as a betrayal, and of course it's just added to Nexon's already notorious fame. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the Western launch will have the same cash app items either, because it is not being published by Nexon in the West. It's being self-published, right, by IMC. So we just have to wait and see what our Western release. We might even have a more optimized release. Although after playing the closed beta, I kind of doubt it. My character's head spun around pretty much half the time I played. So I'm still excited. I'm not going to let this.
Where do you guys stand on the prices, first of all? $25 for a hairstyle?
It's a bit
$25? I could buy like 30 Steam games for that price.
Why is it that? And also, it's limited, right? There's only, I think, 2 or 3 hairstyles. They couldn't, throw in some more designs there, like put an afro. I mean, I could think of it. You just go to a barbershop and get the little pamphlet.
They don't want the cheap assholes like us, all right? They want the people that are going to spend...
Whales.
Whales, exactly. So the guy who's going to spend 25 is going to buy, like, all of them, right?
No.
He's going to buy one, because that's how much they cost by themselves.
No. Yeah, right. I'm saying he's going to buy one, and then he's going to buy them all. The person who would spend $25 on one hairstyle is the person who will buy all the hairstyles and all the cosmetics they release.
I think the biggest insult is how limited it is, too. No, they will. The whales. They're going to target the whales.
The way it works with whales is whales end up spending money on a game, not just for the cosmetics. It's for like the gachas and the
XP boosts.
But I think the whales end up spending money because of the randomized gambling gachas in games. That's what gets whales to spend lots of money. Obviously, cosmetics are there too, but cosmetics I think are appealing towards everybody else.
Okay, fair.
Or the consumables with XP boost.
So I'm sure they did their homework on a 25, right? What is like a league skin cost, like a high end, like a new one? Probably like 20, right?
I think the legendary skins were close to 20, but regular skins cost like $5, $10 at most.
All right, well, I guess they're aiming for that. I'm sure they did their homework.
I mean, also, a skin versus a hairstyle? At least with a skin,
same thing. What's the difference?
You get overhaul.
I will say customization in Tree of Savior was pretty disappointing, where you had like 5 or 6 rotating hairstyles. I mean, it is a simple game. It is Ragnarok Online didn't exactly have customization either. But to lock, I could just see like 24 hairstyles being locked in the cosmetic shop instead of and with your 6 basic.
Yeah.
And I like customizing my little kawaii character, so I did find that a bit disappointing. I mean, it's not going to stop me. It doesn't ruin the game for me, but I wish something else was locked behind it. Something more like skins, like you said.
Well, now we know why there was no customization, because they're selling it all.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There's might be
That's exactly what it is.
What do you guys think about the Trio of Savior acronym, TOS? I feel like it sounds so, it seems so much like terms of service. That's their downfall right there.
Now
Right?
I'm
The
not
acronym.
see that. You know that.
I think that's inconsequential.
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
I actually like it. It's nice. Toss. You know, TOS.
Toss.
Kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yo.
Yeah, and we can call everybody that plays tossers.
I like that. Yeah, the terms of service are the most important part of a game, all right? It's a legally binding agreement there, all right?
You know what,
Not binding at
you know
all.
what the dumbest item is in a cash shop? The megaphone. Why do I want to like temporarily fill everyone's screen with like a one sentence like, nonsense? Like,
Oh my god.
So
I
you can
hate the
write wee
microphone.
wee wee wee.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out in Maple Story, like stupidest comments, like XXKK is a dick. Like, you know, they would just rip on their friend or something.
How would you ever know that he was a dick if it wasn't for that megaphone?
I
You
don't
know?
trust him. There's no supporting evidence.
I mean, I feel like they should be free. I want Baron's chat. All right, I don't want to pay for Baron's chat.
I mean,
Baron's chat wasn't global though. Megaphones are global. I mean, come
It
on,
should've
get on
been
their
global.
level.
Should have been global.
but I really feel like the megaphone is such a stupid item, but who would have guessed such a stupid item would sell so well? And the way those megaphones work is every line consumes one megaphone, so it's not cheap. You know,
No.
and people have entire conversations on there, which I don't understand. They'll say like hi, hi, hi. Like, you just paid to say hi 3 times. Was it worth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad we think it was worth. But like, people say the stupidest things. It makes no kind of sense.
I don't remember what I played recently, but people were using their megaphones to try and trade stuff instead of using the trade channel.
Okay, but that's a good use of a megaphone as far as I'm concerned. You advertise to a broader audience, you'll get your shit done, you'll sell what you want. There's a purpose to it. But most of it, there's no purpose. It's just really dumb for the most part. But hey, you know, if you buy a megaphone, you're supporting the game, so I can't really complain.
Speaking of questionable purchases, Activision Blizzard purchased MLG earlier. Well, actually, the deal was done apparently on December 21st, but it only came to light basically this month, beginning of this month.
Yeah.
And they want to be the ESPN of video games.
Yep, they want to do. I think they realize they can't really compete with Twitch for like the amateur stuff, so they want to be the premium content of the esports scene.
They plan to continue to run MLG.TV as well, and I didn't even know about MLG.TV until this deal came out, because I thought like, everyone just used Twitch, but apparently there is a pretty decent audience on MLG.TV. I watched a guy play Call of Duty, and he had like 8,000, 9,000 people watching him. I didn't know they had that kind of audience.
So was it when you watched? Was it free?
Yeah, you could just watch.
I think it launched with some kind of price, right?
Mhm.
And that's kind of why it lost out to Twitch like years ago when it first came out.
Uh-huh.
And they refused to put their content on Twitch. It was only on MLG.TV. So I think those early days of streaming, they just kind of lost out to Twitch and they never really recovered. That's why they kind of only sold for 46 mil.
Only 46 million. If I could only get 46 million.
Well, actually, the company raised over 70 million over the years.
Wow.
So this was a loss for investors.
Interesting. They actually, Activision estimates that the esports audience at more than 100 million unique viewers currently, and projects that to be more than 300 million viewers by 2017. So they expect the esports viewing audience, or the esports audience, to triple in the next 2 years. How do you guys feel about that? Is that accurate, you think?
You know, I'm not one to watch esports, so I'm not sure, but I do know based on our own site, because we have a weekly esports column, that it does really well, so people want to know. I can see it. I've read places where there are more people tune in for some esports tournaments than the average football, baseball, and soccer match combined. So
I feel like you
That
just
says
pulled
a
a
lot.
statistic straight out
I
of your
didn't. I
asshole.
do have it. It's cited in an editorial. I
Alright,
have it
somewhere.
But you're kind of comparing like let's say league grand champion world championship
no, I
to like an
understand, but-
average like
No,
Ecuador
no.
playing
Keep in mind-
Mozambique,
Keep in mind that it's still young.
My two
right?
favorite countries there, huh?
I know.
It's still young. There's no advertising really behind it. You really kind of got to be on the in, I'd say. You have to already be following it. I think once you have money behind it, pushing it, I can see it growing quite fast. You got a generation coming up on COD and these Activision games that are all competitive driven. They're going to tune in. I don't see why not.
I think what makes esports really interesting is that a huge percent of people that play Counter-Strike and League of Legends and Dota interact with esports. They actually there's a very high engagement rate between people that play the game and they watch the game. So it really serves a really interesting marketing mechanic for the company that makes the game as well, and it really keeps people drawn into the community. I mean, it really creates a culture around the game because just the game itself is something, but when you have tournaments around the game, I think it promotes the culture a lot and kind of spreads the game that way.
I think basically and I think this deal kind of proves, or at least hints towards this future, where esports is really not a separate thing. It's just an extension of the company that makes the game. So they promote. So MLG, I think, in the years ahead, will be dedicated exclusively to Activision Blizzard's games.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
but
now the people running MLG have said, "Oh no, that's not the case." But I think that's only because they have deals inked already before this purchase came through with games like Counter-Strike or whatever. They do stuff for World of Warcraft. Well, World of Warcraft's already Blizzard, but they do stuff for Smite, which I think will be gone. They used to run Dota tournaments, which I think will be gone.
But you said esports is not a thing; it's an extension of the game. But you can say that about any real sport too.
No,
football is its own realm within the NFL, and NBA
no,
runs basketball.
There's
It's
multiple
like
leagues. They're not
Activision-
big, but people play like amateur leagues and stuff.
That doesn't count.
I don't count little league. Okay, is there basketball beyond the NBA? No, for all practical purposes.
Yes,
no.
there is.
There's like the college league and that's it, right?
What?
The college league is very big.
Yeah,
It's
Whatever.
just that one.
Okay,
it's huge.
okay. There's like 2 leagues. All right, doesn't matter. There's
Also,
one
college football
There's
is
one
huge
league for league,
itself.
and that's what Riot Games does. There's a couple for Dota right
No,
now. And there's maybe
like-
one for Blizzard games.
Like
But
you have FIFA, right? Like global soccer, but then every country has its own leagues and stuff, clubs, whatever.
there's local tournaments in League 2 and stuff. And yeah,
there
there's
are
small-
what, like Doritos. Like you for a bag of Doritos, you guys play league.
What?
That's a grand prize.
Yeah, the bag
No.
that's a pretty solid prize. Okay, bring back 3 Doritos and give it to the winner. Okay.
Basically, all esports tournaments and stuff will be first party. I think in the future, which they started third party, right? With things like MLG.
In ESL, but
ESL.
is that really a big deal?
No, it's not a big deal. It's
It
observation.
still makes it a sport, an e-sport. You see, there's a disconnect between what you're saying. You're saying it's not an e-sport anymore because one company's running it.
It's just a marketing arm of that game, like of that company.
I don't
For
think
their
that's
game.
that's a big
No.
deal, though. It
Yeah.
doesn't diminish the value that it adds to the industry, nor does it hinder esports' ability to flourish in the future. I think, if anything, it'll create stronger communities since it's going to be the companies running it. Like Hi-Rez. Hi-Rez is going to run their own esports, I'm sure, for Smite going forward and definitely for Paladins. So,
Well,
I don't
Hi-Rez also has their own arena in Atlanta, like a
Yeah.
full arena.
which is crazy.
See, Hi-Rez does that, role, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They're very good about it.
I don't. Some part of me wants kind of to wrestle at least some control away from the developer of the game. Like if the community owns at least or is has a stake at the table for a game that's an esport, like let's say Counter-Strike or League, I think that would just be healthier.
So what you end up with then is kind of like any major pro sport now. You end up with team owners. Like ex-pro players then go and own their own team, and they get a stake in.
At least it's a little more diffused.
Industry.
Instead of one guy calling all the
I imagine that will
shots.
happen naturally as you move forward.
Really?
I
hope so.
think so.
That's
I
my
think
hope.
so.
That's my hope. I see it moving away from that, but
But you have the developers are the ones that are most motivated to cultivate the game. They want to.
make money.
Yeah.
But now
Well, actually-
imagine League was all the tournament which were run by a third party, MLG, ESL, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So every year they would send a representative to the dev team in Riot, right? They would sit at a table and say, "This is what we want to see. We don't want this changing. We don't want this changing. We want this changing." And in Riot, the developers would say, have a back and forth. There'd be much more flourishing of ideas in terms of what to change,
Well-
how to compromise to keep it, the sport going.
In
Now
terms
it's
of money, they don't
Riot saying,
even
boom.
make money on esports. Companies just do esports to, as you said, marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's unhealthy.
Well, I'm sure you're going to see independent leagues show up, and maybe they'll become more popular. But it's going to be very tough to compete against the big budgets of the companies doing it themselves. But I can see that happening too. Why not?
I don't see it happening. I see it moving away from that. So we'll see that. Hopefully
We'll see.
it flourishes.
I would say big deal if the company's
It
running
sounds like an
games.
editorial there, huh?
Well,
You're good on that.
that sounds like work. All right, let's move on. Here's a random piece of news. I don't think anyone cares, but MMOs and MMORPGs should be our bread and butter. Two old games I used to play: Dungeons and Dragons Online and Lord of the Rings Online, both by Turbine. It's a new year, and I believe the DDO license is up for renewal this year.
Really?
Oh.
Lord of the Rings is next year.
And exactly, Lord of the Rings is 2017. Now, I think both of those are going to be trouble for Turbine. One, Neverwinter is a lot newer, also D&D. And I think that company will probably push for not to renew, right? Because
but DDO is owned by Warner Brothers, which owns the Dungeons and Dragons license, no?
No, what do you mean they own the license?
Yeah, but I can't.
DDO is owned. It's owned by Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Either way, I can't imagine that DDO is making enough money right now for them to really consider renewing the license.
Exactly, that's another issue. Whether they have the money, if it's worth it.
With Lord of the Rings, at least, it's owned by Warner Brothers, so they control the license. So in that,
it's not owned by Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers doesn't own the Lord of the Rings license?
It's not. Yes, but it's not permanent. That's next year. That one comes up renewal with the Tolkien estate.
Oh, I thought you meant game specific wise.
Yeah,
so it's an entire thing then.
No.
Basically,
Turbine's license to make an MMORPG on Lord of the Rings. That license is up for renewal next year, and the person who has to renew it is Tolkien estate, I believe.
But they made all the movies, didn't they? Warner Brothers.
Yes.
All right. Well, they want to control. They probably want to keep it then.
Oh,
Didn't you predict that Turbine was gonna, cut ties anyway and focus on mobile development, or just go under?
yes. That's my prediction, and I'm going to hold to it this year. Might see that.
So, do you see DDO going under then?
Yes,
Or
my
being sold to
prediction.
someone else?
My prediction is DDO will probably shut down this year. We'll see if I'm right.
maybe if both of them go under, they'll refocus on actually putting out the private servers for Asheron's Call.
Is that how you pronounce it? I always used to say Asherons, but
I have
That's
no
what I
idea.
say,
That's
too.
just.
Oh,
I just say Asheron's. I have no idea.
I still remember
don't
when
see that
Asheron's
happening.
Call was new. All right. I'm old.
yeah. This was one of the first. Asheron's Call was one of the first MMORPGs. It came out a few months after EverQuest original, so 1999.
Yeah.
How did it do?
Well,
Did it fare well, or did it kind of tank behind EverQuest?
It didn't really. It kind of was in EverQuest's wake the whole time, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Asheron's Call, the first one, didn't do terribly, and apparently, obviously, it got Turbine where they are, like by existing. But Asheron's Call 2 really tanked. It was buggy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a mess, and it basically went under immediately. And somehow, for some reason, they brought it back for people that own Asheron's Call, the original.
I remember playing Asheron's Call 2 in the beta, and I was so disappointed. Like, one quick tidbit: Asheron's Call 1 had an amazing magic system, especially at the beginning. You didn't know what spells you could cast. You had to experiment in the game to discover new spells.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Discover.
And it had player housing, persistent, not just instant stuff. It had PvP. It had everything just out the gate.
I feel like player housing really went downhill since the olden days.
Yep.
Of, Asheron's Call, Ultima.
Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys think that,
Do you have the trailer I think you're going to have?
Origins of Malu.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Well, no, Divergence 2, but look at the Origins of Malu quick sample, because it's old now, but that's the big world version that they're bringing back right now, and the player housing looks really cool.
Is it persistent?
Yes.
Excellent.
I like it. I like it already.
Open world housing, yes.
And you can just kind of put it together, however you want.
A la Rust?
Sort of. You just take a look.
I'm looking at it right now. I like
That game is also supposed to have an arena. There's open PvP in certain areas, but they have a permadeath arena, so if someone really pisses you off, you can challenge them to a permadeath match and permakill their character.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. I love that feature already. That's the best way to settle your grudge, If a guy's smack talking you, you gotta call him out. It's like an old time duel, all right?
Yeah.
And if he pussies out, it's even better. You're like, okay.
Rub it in his face.
He'll know his place at that point,
Well, not only that, but it's an announced thing that announces on the server ahead of time, and people can come and watch.
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I like how this house he's building, though, just looks like a 3-year-old throwing blocks together.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over the place.
And I love the dramatic hand motions the character's making when he's placing things.
Casting a spell, guys.
Yeah, so this is the one they're going back to. They were trying to make it an Unreal Engine 4, and they kind of ran out of funding, and they had this almost complete version in Big World beforehand, which apparently they abandoned because Wargaming bought out Big World, and they weren't sure what was the future was going to hold. So they're bringing this back, and it's going to be online and functional within the next week or two.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, they're on the ball with the permadeath mechanic on the duels, and the housing system. So 2 excellent features.
It's also got an active dodge.
That's cool. It does look a little dated, but not bad. Not bad. The graphics, especially compared to other games in development this year.
Appeal.
I'm getting a very Saga of Rhizome feel. From
Yeah,
this
honestly,
version.
I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want to say it though, because I was ripping on that game.
It's an oldie.
You can rip on that game. It's okay.
That game was confusing.
Some guy said DDO. I thought that game was called Neverwinter.
Oh, we should jump right in here to another upcoming MMORPG. Man, I think you can take this one away too, which is Divergence Online.
This one has been in development for 8 years, had 2
Wow.
or 3 engine switches, and the team has switched so many times. They've had 3 Indiegogos now, like a Kickstarter. I mean, they've really been going for a long time. I think collectively maybe 120,000. It wasn't a lot. But anyways, they're finally, after switching engine again to Unity, and 2 developers have been working on it for the past year or so, and they're going to put it out in early access as soon as possible.
Did they say as soon as possible? Like they said, like within a couple of days, like a week ago.
Well, it was Friday. They said within a couple of days. They're waiting on Valve to approve it. But it's basically supposed to be Star Wars Galaxies 2.0. They copied all the professions basically and added a few more. They have the housing system, and they've like expanded upon it, and basically Star Wars Galaxies 2.0. What I thought was cool though, they have a synthetic race, and basically it's like the humans, except you can't wear clothing.
Can't wear clothing.
You can't wear clothing.
But you make them up out of different parts, and if you don't, you have to collect bodies and stuff, and upgrade them. And if you don't have a body to switch to, you permadie.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I saw the Steam Greenlight page for this game, and they literally copied the Star Wars theme music at the beginning. So,
speaking of music, could you please turn up the music for this for a second and just listen to how disconcerting it is for this trailer?
It's a bad losing my religion cover. I'm pretty sure.
Whoa! We're putting this on YouTube. They're gonna like flag us if it's copyrighted music.
Yeah.
Basically, if you guys look at this trailer, it's not good. The music does not work, and I think they are using copyrighted music.
Yeah, honestly, a part of me wants, obviously, as a Star Wars Galaxies fan, part of me wants it to succeed, but the 8 years development cycle, it's just like, I don't think there's any overcoming that.
It's like Darkfall all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Darkfall had like a 7-year development cycle, and it ended up being a mess.
Anytime a game takes that long to develop, you know it's gonna be a mess because they have to change engines so many times. It gets outdated before it even releases. It just and things get lost in the code. You know, like 8 years, like you're gonna forget who did what and like what's still buggy, what wasn't fixed. So many things get lost in development.
Outdated releases. Blade and Soul was finally gonna come out this year, guys, in the West.
About
Exactly
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Exactly 2 weeks.
On the 19th.
Now you know what's crazy? I just googled. I just went on YouTube and searched Blade and Soul trailer. So the first option is from 2009.
Wow.
There you go.
So from 6 years, I'm watching a trailer for a game that's coming out in 2 weeks, but the trailer is 6 years old.
But yeah, that's unbelievable. Their release schedule was so stupid.
Anyone excited for Blade and Soul?
I think people are. I think the game could do well. I think the game is going to do well in the West. I'm throwing that out there.
I'm not excited personally, but it's just I don't know. I don't know what it has for me over anything else. I guess the PvP.
If I were someone that liked playing Arena PvP, I'd be really excited right now. But like, I played Guild Wars Arena PvP for about an hour and then went back to the main game. So,
on the topic of PvP, I feel like a lot of new games don't have the same hardcore PvP. We've talked about this a lot, and I think it has a lot to do with the rise of MOBAs. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, That's MOBAs certainly filled a niche for instant PvP.
I think a lot of people like they all say they want the hardcore PvP, but you can get that same hardcore PvP without any of the grind in MOBAs. And a lot of people don't realize that, I feel like. But the PvE and the grinding is like 90% of an MMORPG for me.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing that makes me laugh is I think that people go on about how they want the hardcore PvP, and then the game comes out and they're like, "Oh no, this is unbalanced. This is bullshit. This is pay to win every single time." And I'm just like, "No, you're just actually a wimp."
Yeah. People don't actually want that hardcore PvP in an MMORPG environment because I feel like that niche is already filled now in MOBAs. You don't have to do the grind. And
I think one of the big issues facing MMORPGs in general is that the other genres around it have hived off like portions of it. So like you were saying, the whole I guess you want to say battleground / like team PvP aspect is hived off by MOBAs. Even the best like worlds today are in games like Fallout or Skyrim. Whereas MMORPGs, which were supposed to be these persistent worlds, today are actually more instanced and like than games like Fallout, which is crazy.
It's true.
And people say like Blade and Soul is a really good like 1v1 PvP and stuff, but they say like you were saying with that being carved off. This guy just said in the stream chat, if you want to give good 1v1 PvP, you play a fighting game too. It's
Yeah.
in a way a lot of that is still captured by other genres.
Well, you see, a lot of the instance part is kind of our fault as gamers. We bitched and moaned about how we wanted meaningful content that made us feel like the hero for a while. And I mean, people really did. I saw it a lot for years. And now everybody's like, we can't do the instances. We can't do these quests that make us feel like the hero. I want to be part of a world again. And it's kind of our fault. I mean, we asked for it, and they gave it to us in the only way they knew how.
Well, you mean I have to take responsibility as a gamer? No, I can't do that. I can't take responsibility. It's never my fault, all right?
All right, I get confused. Which one is supposed to be more popular / better, Blade and Soul or Black Desert? All right, personally, I'm way more excited for Black Desert because it's a new game. It's going to come out. It's not even out yet in Korea, or maybe open beta or something. So I'm actually looking forward to that compared to Blade and Soul, which at this point to me is like, time to retire.
I think a lot of people were excited about Blade and Soul in 2008, 2009. When they first saw the trailers for the Korean release, when it was first announced in Korea, a lot of that excitement is gone. I mean, again, Blade and Soul was a game that was like, people were excited playing Blade and Soul or Tera. Those games were competing at the time. Now it's definitely, the excitement factor is down, but I think it's still going to have an audience because it still looks like a solid game.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it bodes poorly for the genre that one of the most exciting games of 2016 is a game that was released in 2012. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
See, I'm more excited for all the indie releases. The problem is none of them have been finished yet.
So none of them have been released, those indie releases.
Okay,
yeah, but I'm sitting here like, I could stick to Origins of Malu if it finishes, ever.
Yeah, that looks way more exciting to me than Blade and Soul.
Well, one guy said Black Desert has no content yet, which I think a lot of people are complaining about that at the Korean beta too.
And I mean, I think no content is going to continue to be a problem because a lot of the budgets are like shrinking for MMOs. People aren't really willing to take the risk on it anymore, and especially with most of them going to Kickstarter, the new ones that we see, like you're not seeing a lot of long term unless people aren't investing in it and putting money into it.
Yeah.
Isn't progression also too quick now? You reach the end of the game so quickly that you see there's lacking content. Like I said last week, I was playing old school WoW, and it took me like 5 hours just to hit level 10. And then I played Black Desert Online, I hit level 10 in about 5 minutes. I think we all did. So it's
the first like 6 levels in Black Desert were like instant. I don't know why. They made it really fast.
NPC? Boom.
Done. X level.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could draw it out instead of killing. Remember in Black Desert 2, the quests were like, kill 3 rabbits. Ding. Kill 3 this. And WoW, it's like, you gotta kill 10 of these, then you gotta camp the boss, then you gotta kill another 10 of these. And I'm only bringing it up because I recently played it. So progression is just so quick. And I think that it's too quick because, I mean, it's unreasonable. And then this isn't just Black Desert. Like, you can't create enough content when progression is so instantaneous to satisfy people.
What do you think about in terms of content being an issue, which it clearly is for a lot of games, about the system that Neverwinter and Star Trek had with the Foundry? I think that solves a lot of that problem.
Dangerous, because it could have a lot of crap content. But I think the real question we should be asking is, have MMOs always been lacking content, and because of the progression rates is the real reason we're seeing it, and not because there's more or less?
That's half of it. That's half of it. Like Sean was saying, it was a lot slower back then, but there's a second part, and that is the lack of instant internet information. So when I was playing EverQuest, Ultima Online, Dark Age, and Camelot, I didn't know what the dungeon had in store for me. Like, I go in, I don't know what those monsters are going to do. I don't know what they're going to drop. I don't know if I can kill them or not. Now, on one screen I have the game going. On the other screen I have the whole wiki going. I got the the forum going, the Reddit. So I know what's going on. I know what to do from level 1 to 10.
Information is much
10 to 20,
more accessible, unfortunately, which definitely makes the content. You can blaze through the content. In fact, there's guides out there for the fastest possible leveling routes, where to go, exactly how fast. Quest Change used to take a long time to finish in older MMORPGs because you didn't know exactly where the quest NPC was, where you had to go to kill the monsters. And now, not only can you look it up, a lot of games have made it so easy. You click on your quest, and it will actually take you exactly where you need to go. So obviously, it makes the content shorter.
So the content is quick. Progression is quicker, and information is more available. So double whammy there.
It's true. I don't know how you get around that then. I mean, you can start by making progression slower or drawing it out more, but I don't know how you get around instantaneous information.
I think every game needs to have the Neverwinter Foundry system, because I thought that was a lot of fun, even with the crap, a lot of it being crap content.
Do you know what the most popular Foundry map was back when we played Neverwinter?
Only on the beta, it was an exploit that was used to level to max level. A bunch of ogres kept falling into the trap.
I feel like we had to explain this more thoroughly. So the Foundry system, for those of you who don't know, is basically players can make their own dungeons in Neverwinter, right? You can kind of play the role of the dungeon master. You can make these elaborate levels, blah blah blah, play through them. But that's not what happened. What actually happened was there was a one-room dungeon. There was ogres falling in from the sky, and there was a pit with spikes, right? So you're all standing on a platform, and these ogres just keep dying, and you just level up over and over again.
Okay, yes, that was obviously an exploit. But if you look at what came out of the Foundry system, minus the exploits, you had some really interesting story-driven missions, because everything was written by players, and if you go to the Foundry page, it only shows you the highest rated stuff up front, and you'll see 6-7 part missions sometimes, and take a long time to finish. But the stories were actually pretty good because they were written by players, so it's almost like fan fiction.
Yeah.
Built on top of a game. It was really well done for the most part.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, that is another. I am generally in favor. Yes, it just has to be policed a little. That's one reason Neverwinter, I think. Well, DDO has no chance, right? Because Neverwinter just has so much more content, better engine, better combat now than DDO did.
Yeah.
But that grindy end game.
Yeah.
Don't you want grindy endgame? People complain there's not enough content. Don't you want the grind? I mean, it always seems to be a dichotomy. You complain about not having one thing, and then when you have something to solve it, you complain about that too. It's just constant complaining. You can't
whine. It's all we do.
I'd rather have a grindy end game where you have to work your ass off to get maxed out than have an easy end game and then quit because there's nothing left to do.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would rather grind for 2 years to make my dream house in a video game than grind for 2 years to get 2 pieces of armor.
Yeah,
it's fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about the grind. They're just not giving me a good enough carrot at the end of it.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Described Ultima Online very well. Basically, you could get any armor in the game, within weeks of playing, but getting that big house took years. So that was always fun.
Or the ship. The ship was what I really wanted. We never got that.
But guys, more importantly, Blade and Soul boob physics or Black Desert boob physics? Take a look at the Blade and Soul China boob physics on this video.
Blade and Soul boob physics want to leave.
They were on the ball in China with boob physics. This can't be real.
These look so weird. It looks like putty almost. Look
at him go.
Have you guys ever seen Total Recall with the meatball monster at the end?
Sean, I can't let you dodge this video. You have to watch this video.
I'm watching the video.
Right, I want you to soak it in.
These look like the meatball monster reaching out to Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. That's what
I feel like I'm watching Onechanbara the MMO right now. I don't know if you guys know what Onechanbara is.
I'm afraid I do not.
I gotta look that up.
But they look. There is for some reason, the East can't seem to get boob physics down. They're always like over here, and now they're over here, and now they're like,
the thing is, in the East, they don't really have boobs, so they don't have no experience in how they work.
There's no realism.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
they're always ridiculous. Always.
They have boobs in Korea and Japan.
Here, that's Onechanbara.
I'm afraid to click this.
I'm a little afraid too.
It's on PS4. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it's on YouTube, all right.
There's naked boobies on YouTube,
as opposed to non-naked boobies, fully clothed boobies.
What is this?
Oh, armor.
It's a zombies.
It's a lack of armor.
Armor and coats.
It's a really generic hack and slash with bikini-laden warriors.
Huh.
Do the zombies have boobs too? Nice.
But the boob physics have always been really bad.
Is this as bad as that one Street Fighter clip? Like the new Street Fighter game with the Chun-Li's boobs just bouncing all over the place?
Yeah.
That one was A+. How were the Blade and Soul boob physics? I kind of forgot. I know, Boob and Soul had pretty solid boob physics.
Did you just say Blade and Soul compared to Boob and Soul?
No, Blade and Soul is Boob and Soul, alright?
Yeah. Did Scarlet Blade have good boob physics, or were they just wonky too? I never played Scarlet Blade. I know you guys were pro.
The graphics in that game just weren't great overall, so it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that game, honestly, I don't think it had physics at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Plastic figurines.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
On the topic of boob physics, actually, there's a relatively new game that launched. I don't think it's new in Korea. It's just new here. It's like, what was it called? It's that something Siege.
Titan Siege.
Titan Siege. That game.
Oh, that game was a mess.
It's a mess. I did a video for it, which will be up tomorrow. One thing it is going for is the visuals were not bad. It looks a little bit like Echo of Soul, and the boob physics were kind of on point. I kind of like the boob physics in that game.
Homer's checklist.
Okay.
Graphics.
Yes.
Boobs. 10 out of 10.
Game of the year. No, there's got to be an ass slap too for it to be game of the year, like it's Skyforce, right?
Skyforce, that's right.
That qualified to be game of the year because of that.
You know, I was gonna do Titan Siege, but you snuck it because I heard that game is just not great.
Oh, in terms of not great, because I read what Matt put on it on MMOs.com. It was I went into it with a very negative mindset, and I was surprised.
Fair enough.
Matt, the best way to describe that game was solidly generic, right?
Did it work?
Yeah, a lot of it wasn't translated, but it worked.
Well, see, they have, and I quote, 2,000 player PvP, so it's basically like Ica.
Yeah. Do people still play Ica?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a bad impression for me that this is the publisher's first published game, and they didn't even fully translate it. And they put thawing your mount. Or whatever. I'm just like...
It's a lot of things are not translated at all. Like, and other things, everything else is poorly translated. I mean, there's some phrasing issues in that. Like, in the quest dialogue, there's some serious, as Archer would say, phrasing.
This video length, why is this in Turkish? Is this a Turkish video? Like,
I don't know. Here's another one.
Oh.
Yeah. There's not too many videos out there for Titan Siege. This is a G-Star 2012 video for Titan Siege, just showing you how old this game is.
Oh my goodness. When is this genre going to see some new things, guys?
Well, this is what happens. Like, I don't know. It's a miracle that Elder Scrolls is already heading to Japan, because imports, exports, they take a while.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're getting faster than. Well, I will say I think Western companies are just better overall at overseas reach than vice versa.
I think the Western companies care a lot more about reaching a global audience. Other companies seem to make games specifically for their audience.
That's true.
Like, until Cave announced their whole releasing all their shmups on Steam, they actually had said they're completely pulling out of the Western market and they're never localizing again.
Wow, they're pulling out. Never pull out. No.
Whoa. All right, I want to shift gears a little. So we live in Vegas, and right down the street is one of the biggest conventions in the world right now. It's CES, Consumer Electronics Show. Every year around this time they have it. This year, a big thing coming out, Oculus. It's actually coming out now in... Pre-orders come out in 21 hours, guys.
Yeah, 21 hours.
Who's pre-ordering?
Are you guys going to buy them?
I'm gonna buy one.
I'm going to buy one.
You are?
Yeah,
I feel like it's gonna be way out of my budget.
Really?
Alright, I'm gonna pre-order one.
Isn't it like $350 if you already have the graphics card at least?
I don't think they've announced it.
They haven't.
Oh.
But bundle with Eve Valkyrie.
It does come with Eve Valkyrie, right?
Mm-hmm. So it comes with 2 games actually, Eve Valkyrie and something else. What was it? Something else? I don't know, but it looked cartoony.
Lucky's Tale. It's like it kind of looks like a new Conquer.
It looks like it sounds like it's supposed to be like Palmer Lucky.
There you go. That's it.
So alright, I'll get it. I didn't know if anyone else was gonna get one. So I guess I'll get one.
It's not launching with the hand thing though.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people saying that like not to buy it now because the touch isn't included, but they've pretty much said that the touch is always going to be separate.
But it's weird that it didn't launch with it because I feel like it's kind of an integral part of the experience.
Well, even if they did launch with it, you're going to have to pay for it separately. It's not going to be included.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. I mean, if I'm flying a ship in Eve Valkyrie, the keyboard and mouse is my control panel anyway, so I'd rather fly a ship with a keyboard and mouse anyway, if I could. Just like I'd rather drive my car with an Xbox controller than push the pedal.
The genre definitely makes a big difference in terms of the control scheme.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know. I can't see myself using an Oculus with a keyboard. I can't do it.
Really?
I can't do it either. For Oculus, I feel like you're going to need the controller.
Like, I mean, when it comes out, it comes out. I'll get that too.
Yeah, right? I'll buy that too. Why not?
Yeah, fuck it.
It comes with an Xbox One controller, you know? So you can still use a controller. It's just, I feel like I'm not going to be able to reach over from WASD, hit the I button, and actually go back to WASD every time.
Yeah, it seems really silly.
You can't find WASD?
I can find it, but it just seems like, why even have a virtual environment if you're using mouse and keyboard?
I got it. Ready? In the virtual environment, you're going to see a keyboard. Like a virtual keyboard will be in front of you. Okay? So you can just use that.
Yeah.
Well, also, with head tracking, you have to spin around, and keyboards aren't conducive to that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have to spin all the way around, or is it just like 180?
I have no idea.
How the hell am I supposed to spin all the way around?
Yeah, I don't expect...
I do know. It is, in some of them, you do have to spin all the way around because they have demos of the Omni with the Oculus Rift on, and you can spin all the way around, and they're playing Counter-Strike.
Wow. Counter-Strike seems amazing on there. The concept.
No, I feel like I would throw up if I was playing Counter-Strike.
But I don't see that working because you have to buy the Omni, which is like $600 to $700. You have to buy the Oculus, which could be $400.
Yeah,
then you have to buy the gun-shaped controller to make it seem like you can actually play.
I forget all that. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, all the bullshit accessories.
I'm definitely not getting an Omni of anything.
It already works, but like you don't want to pay that much.
You gotta mortgage your house to get the full experience.
But those aren't first party, right? Those are just third party add-ons.
Yeah, but they also have now that whole thing with the vest that'll make you feel realistic pain when you get shot in a video game, and I'm sitting there like, who wants to do that?
I do, actually. I used to think about that all the time.
I would love to deliver friendly fire that hurts my teammates in real life, alright? That would be the dream. If I could just shoot my teammates and they feel it in real life. They can feel my assholery in person.
Wait, guys.
But
I have the perfect... Go on, Matt.
I think the real problem, though, is I still don't think that Oculus Rift is VR. It's a headset with 2 screens attached that tracks your head motion. It's not VR. VR is more involved than that in my head.
Have you tried the Oculus?
No.
Okay, I've tried the HTC Vive, and you'd be surprised. I thought it would be cheesy because VR in my mind is Star Trek style holodeck or Sword Art Online legit
Data
VR.
becomes Sherlock.
I expected holodeck, but my expectations were very low going into the HTC Vive demo, and it was actually pretty immersive. It was actually your brain and eyes get very easily tricked, and it feels like you're there. It's not true VR like you said, but the two screens in front of the headset are surprisingly effective at giving you a unique experience.
Yeah, right. But here's the other problem. Is it going to be any good at all for third-person games?
Ooh.
Who knows yet? I don't know.
You only the first
at all.
Was your demo only first-person stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was all first-person.
I think that was on purpose because it's not going to work for third-person.
Well, I
games.
saw that one Adventure Quest game that seemed to do it right because it kind of immerses you in the narrative. So in the Adventure Quest game, it's a platformer, but you are like a cloud above the characters and they talk to you. Like you are like in the world and they don't know why you're there and they come out. I thought that was at least a creative way to go about it, and it works with something that's silly like Adventure Quest. But speaking of third-person games, I would like to bring up Wizard Online, which is an MMORPG designed for VR.
Ooh.
And there is third-person where you're behind your character, but this looks like the strangest thing, like a Gumby claymation. There's no video, so we only have the website right now. But
the video is coming out on the 10th.
Oh,
I got that much.
I'm quaking with anticipation.
Beta will apparently launch next month.
Guys, I have the biggest mindfuck for you guys. Well,
so I am ready.
When I was a kid, this was the biggest mindfuck for me, and I think Nintendo is pretty good at this kind of stuff. So I think one of my first 3D games, which probably for a lot of you, was Mario 64, right?
For me.
Now I remember how I'd introduced the 3D camera? There was a guy on a cloud with the camera. Like instead of
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I was like, whoa, am I that guy? Like I'm not controlling Mario, I'm controlling this guy. Or is it a team effort? Like I remember being mindfucked by like this guy in a cloud with the camera. Like, am I him? Or am I Mario? Am I both?
You could see him in all the mirrors too. And stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You could see him. So I think Nintendo did a great job of kind of integrating the third-person view into the game.
They're the only one that actually bothered to explain that, you know?
Yeah. To me, that was just like amazing.
Nintendo's being realistic, guys.
Yeah.
Yo, people say we should play Transform Ice. We should do that one day. But there was a funny comment by Metal Snakes. So if you got that VR suit and you feel the pain. Hey guys, I'm playing with VR that hurts me if I get shot. Your whole team turns around to shoot the entire match. Let's be real, that's totally gonna happen if you tell your teammates that. Yeah, we need more Nintendo moves though. Nintendo was innovative, alright?
Speaking of innovative, they were also on the ball with VR 20 years early.
Yeah, that Virtual Boy.
I believe it's about 20 years old today. The anniversary was, I think, a couple days ago.
Who celebrated the Virtual Boy anniversary, guys?
All right, guys. Everyone listening, if you wanna retire in a mansion, follow my advice. Ready? Go on eBay.com, buy an unopened Virtual Boy today.
It's only like $800.
If VR takes off, right? Like let's say like 30 years from now, Palmer Lucky, the Oculus guy is a multi-billionaire, right? Let's say, everyone uses virtual reality for everything. That device, the boxed VR Virtual Boy, will be worth millions. Well, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands. Think about it.
Boom.
It definitely will.
Hashtag no scam, all right?
By the way, it's not me selling them all on eBay. I promise.
Hashtag no scam. Aaron ended up with a pallet full of unsold Virtual Boys. He's going to unload on eBay to recoup his investment.
It's currently trending at 714.
Wasn't it like 500 2 days ago, Mar?
Yeah, it's like $500.
The price is listed as $549 right now for this guy to buy it now.
I bet if you look at a chart or something, I bet it went up so much in the past few days or weeks.
It might be a good investment because if you look at the unopened iPhones, the original iPhones unopened, they're worth thousands now. Like at least like 2,000-3,000.
What's that NES game, the track and field or whatever, that sold unopened for like $2,000? Damn, I wish I had that.
I think it was more actually.
And then there was that copy of like Air Raid or whatever, the Atari game with the blue handle cartridge. It sold for $18,000.
Also, Matt, that Stadium Events game, it sold for over $100,000 on eBay.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay, so I was gonna say $10,000 is good money, but I'm pretty sure that game went for a lot more. 100,000. It's graded 85. How does the guy even keep it that good quality?
Damn.
It's pretty crazy.
Why would someone buy that?
it's a piece of gaming history. It's memorabilia.
I hope he tears it open. And he's like, I love stadium events.
And he blows through the cartridge and puts it in. Gotta play now.
Meanwhile, I hope it was a museum that got it because at least it'll stay in its box that way.
Yeah. Well, whoever spent $100,000 is not going to open that game, all right? It's like, hey guys, just blew $100,000. Better play this game now and ruin the value. Anyone that buys that knows what they're doing. At least hopefully.
I think they're seeing big numbers and they're like, I gotta have this.
This game must be really fun, all right? He puts it in as a fucking I'm playing Call of Duty. But I do think that Virtual Boy could be a solid investment. You know, we don't give investment advice on this podcast, but buy Virtual Boys.
Let's see how you do when you do that.
I gotta buy Twitter stock.
if you make lots of money,
bail out Sean.
If you make lots of money, I want a cut. If you don't, I don't know you. All right.
Yes.
What a guy.
I think VR is one of those things where there's no guarantee or certainty it's going to take off. Yeah. It's definitely one of those big transition periods in like gaming, technology in general, where it could be the next big thing for real.
It won't be for a while. I think a lot of people were mentioning the Twitch chat too. It's, you know, people don't have, average person doesn't have a computer good enough to play VR. So it's going to be enthusiasts right now on the bandwagon. So it's going to start off very slow.
I think if it takes off, it's going to take off with the Morpheus, and it's going to become a console thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. For the most, at least early on, definitely, because everyone could have a console, but not everyone has a $1,500 gaming PC.
Well, I want to tie in some news I wanted to bring up anyway. At CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, AMD kind of surprised everyone. Well, at least everyone who cares about computer component architectures. Well, they're going to release a 14-nanometer GPU architecture this year, and they're already shipping apparently to OEMs, or sampling to OEMs, what that means. And for those of you who don't know, the 14 nanometers is the smaller it is.
About the size of your penis. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. The smaller the nanometers the chips are, that's per transistor on a chip, the less power it uses, and the stronger it is per dollar. Okay. And this is a big deal because AMD was losing terribly to NVIDIA. And this is now they'll actually be ahead of NVIDIA because NVIDIA is releasing this year a 16 nanometer. Their previous one, the current model being 28 nanometer. So AMD, for the first time, I think in years,
might be relevant.
Might be relevant and might actually be ahead of NVIDIA this generation.
We'll see
if this pans out. Yeah.
I'll see it when I believe it. All right. The last time they were ahead was my
see it when you believe it, or you believe it when you see it.
One of those. I'm pretty sure I messed that up on Matt's tweet too, because he favorited it. And I reread my tweet and it was retarded. I've made that mistake before.
So what this means for you guys out there is today, to run an Oculus, right, you need a 970 GTX, which is about $300. Mm-hmm. If this comes out, that means you can buy the exact same power for half the price this year.
So I can play my Habbo Hotel on VR on maximum experience, right?
Yeah, for only $150. So that's nice. Half the price this year.
Is it confirmed that the Oculus runs well in the 970 even? Or is it just bare minimum to get it going?
No, that's recommended. If you want bare minimum, you can go lower.
Okay, good. Because I wasn't gonna get one if that was the bare minimum.
No. That's just recommended. So it's actually, okay. And a lot of the demos and games coming out now aren't that graphically intensive.
Yeah.
No. I think Valkyrie, I mean, that looks pretty intense from what I've seen.
For that, you probably want the 970.
I'm glad I got one.
Valkyrie feels like one of those things that no Eve players are going to be playing.
It's the same thing that happened with Dust. Dust 514, right? The PS3 game?
Well, they're still supposed to be retooling that for a PC game, but I haven't heard anything about it since they announced that.
To begin with. That was kind of ridiculous.
I also don't think they integrated it well enough. They were like talking up the integration between Dust and Eve, and they never really did anything with it.
Mm.
I'm waiting for VR MMORPG, all right?
You mean Wizard Online?
Yeah, there you go. But that's third person. I want first person.
What's the one we saw that was... well, MapleStory had that little demo.
There you go. That was a joke, though, wasn't it?
That was... it wasn't a joke. That was a real thing. It's just, was it just a tech thing for G-Star? Just to do it. I think that's why they did it, just to get people to put on the headset and, be in VR in MapleStory. But what was that game we saw, the Pixel game, that was on Kickstarter? That's an MMO for VR. No one remembers?
Oh, the voxel thing,
Voxelnauts.
right?
Voxel.
Is it
Yo,
Voxelnauts?
5th Street. 5th Street's gotta be VR, right? That's where it's at.
Actually, that seems like a pretty cool genre for VR. The whole dancing thing.
Yeah.
'Cause you could be in the room, like you could
Yeah.
jump up and down.
And on a DDR dance pad? Imagine that. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
That
awesome?
would be pretty cool.
Except you can't look at the dance pad, and you're going to end up on the down arrow eventually and wondering why you're not hitting anything.
No, there'll be a dance pad in
the
the
dance
virtual
pad.
environment too, so you'll see it, you know?
Yeah,
You
I
won't,
think
you won't see the physical dance
it
pad,
can
but you'll
sync
see the
with it can
environment.
sync with the headset so that the virtual in the virtual world you see the mat too.
It'd be kind of interesting.
I want to read this one comment from a Spartan here. Let's face it, we're all getting VR for the poor end.
Yeah,
Hands
obviously.
up. Yeah.
We can't talk about that, but that's most certainly the main selling point, all right? My hentai games will be so much better on VR, all right? Boob Wars hentai VR edition? Come on.
You know what
Let's see
sucks? Old porn won't be cross-compatible because it's only filmed from one angle. So
Yeah.
it will have to be a whole new genre of porn.
All our old favorites are all our old go-tos, you know? You're browsing, you can't find something good, you can always go back to those old trusty favorites, you know? Everyone's got them. Everyone's got their favorites. The reliable ones, you know?
Oh, there's one thing. I'm totally digressing, but we didn't talk about it. We have to talk about it. I guess this is actually the controversy was Rift.
Oh,
You didn't bring that up at all, right?
Oh, it's true.
The Rift controversy.
Rift
Just
created
to
a rift
come
in
full
the
circle.
community.
It certainly did. I don't know if I'm gonna do it justice. Matt, you cut me off if I'm not. Basically, actually, Matt, just take it away, please, because I'm gonna goof it.
Okay, so basically, Trion has been banning members of a top Rift guild on and off for a long time for like exploits and various little things that they've done that have pissed them off, maybe calling people names, whatever, and other guilds have been getting away with it. And they've been getting to keep their first status on raids while this guild hasn't. And they're a top rating guild, so they're not like just some newbies that are getting pissed about it. But anyways, they got fed up, and one of their members put out a video basically slamming Trion and telling all the things that he's been through. And some of it's kind of ridiculous, and some of it's a little bit anecdotal. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it kind of hits a point where it's like, why would he say this if it wasn't true? You know, like, why would he come up with this? And then they have an article on the official guild site where the guild leader goes on and says, like, well, this happened, and this raid was broken, and some other guild exploited it, and then we exploited it because the other guild did, and the other guild got away with it, and we didn't, and stuff like that. And they'd worked with people on the dev team to fix stuff, and they just weren't fixing it in time, so they'd exploit it again. They'd get banned because, hey, they didn't fix it. But they got fed up and quit, and now there's a lot of drama between Trion and the Rift community.
And one of the controversial points was one of the guilds that got away with, this kind of behavior had a developer on it, was one of the accusations. And so they didn't get punished, while they got punished because they're just a random high guild versus a random high guild with a developer on the team. So that kind of made them immune, and I could obviously see that causing some serious issues. People, the community, at least these guys, would feel it's completely unfair, and it obviously would be from their perspective.
There are also accusations that in-game people are getting banned just for linking to the video. And the one moderator on the forums is insistent that it was less than 10 people that got banned.
But linking to a video and banning for that reason seems really, really sketchy anyway.
Oh, but there's a name calling at the beginning of the video. It doesn't matter that you didn't do it and it's not on the site.
You just link to it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was his reason.
Banning people just makes you look like a guilty idiot. That was the big,
especially over such a stupid thing.
First issue. Like, if you didn't ban people, it's the Barbra Streisand effect, right? If you want to make something go away, don't try and eliminate all information about it. It just draws more attention to the issue.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah, like us. You want to be talking about
I'm playing the video right now.
Oh, nice.
Well, my favorite thing is, and I quote, one guy was saying basically half his friends list got banned, right? So he said that on the official statement about the bans that the one guy made. Mm-hmm. And the guy, Ocho, which is in that video, responds saying, then your entire friends list must have been made up of those less than 10 people that I banned.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I don't really care about like the personal drama between him and the forums and stuff.
Right.
I have 2 takeaways. One, I would hate to be super dedicated to a free-to-play game, even though I love free-to-play games, because I play them more casually, like whether they're like a MOBA where it's just you can't really you play the round, it ends, right? Or even a game like MapleStory, you just kill some monsters, you log out. But if you're like a top rating guild like this guy, you're constantly at the mercy of the cash shop. If they ever add stuff like. And 2, the biggest point I think he made was the reason Trion keeps releasing unfinished and buggy raids. One of the reasons is they made a promise early on never to let people buy the best gear in the store. So you could always buy the second best gear in the store, but not the best. And when the holidays were coming up, they wanted to make sure they had the nice items in the store that people can buy. So they rushed bosses with the newest tier, just so they could sell the last tier. Yeah. So that's what I think. I think that was probably the best point he made. All this forums drama, I don't really care.
But that's a problem inherently with the free-to-play model. If you're going to sell gear, I think a lot of games made a point never to sell gear in the cash shop, and I think that's a good idea. But if you're going to sell gear, the incentives are always screwed up for you, because there's always an incentive to sell stronger and stronger gear in the cash shop. Because you realize every time you put gear in the cash shop and you make it slightly stronger, sales go through the roof. I mean, people do buy it, you know. That's why they're doing it. But I think that creates a lot of bad incentives, and bad incentives are going to ruin the game eventually.
All right, and one more comment about, I know I said I don't care about the drama, but if this guy is so pissy about the forums, why does he even post on the official forums? Why doesn't he just post on like
He stopped posting on there. No, the thing is he got banned from making YouTube videos and posting images like on his YouTube channel.
He got apparently blackmailed into removing a certain image from his stream.
Which has nothing to do with their official forums.
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but
it's a little much.
I think this is I think this is really bad on Trion's part, because like a lot of people you'll see like, oh no, please come back, you're a top rating guild, you're top spenders, come on, please come back. And Trion is basically like, fuck you guys, you spent a ton of money clearly because you're a top rating guild, we don't want you here, we don't care if you're not going to agree with us. Attitude.
I mean, he made some comparisons to the Nazi regime in World War II, which seems like a bit of a stretch, but
hey, if people willing to spend that much money on a game that I made were saying that I was a Nazi, then I'd be like, okay, you're clearly devoted enough to spend enough money. What the hell am I doing wrong that you're not devoted enough to not call me a Nazi?
You see, most businesses want to focus on the customer. It seems like whoever sees it running the community and Trion, there's clearly a disconnect. I mean, either these guys are making everything up and trying to just really not communicating their side well enough, or it's just there's some anal people in charge and they have to do a way better job of getting everyone on the same page.
Like, but I don't know. The greatest thing is they didn't even deny it. They just like they've done nothing. They've done nothing except the one guy saying, "Oh, we banned a few people." That's it. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's some bad PR mop up. That's not how you handle.
So do we know how Rift is doing population-wise? I mean, the guy in the video says it's not doing well, and he says it might shut down soon.
Oh, let's
he's clearly
to my favorite
biased
website
and
here.
worked up, you know.
Steam charts, which you know, I'm sure people will use.
Wasn't it around like 300?
It's like 900 right in the last 30 days, which is still pretty small.
No, that's pretty solid.
You think that's solid? That's a medium size, right?
But remember, it came on Steam pretty late. It's a pretty old game now, right?
Yeah.
Still play it on the main
I would
platform.
say a lot of people don't play it on Steam.
It's got that weird Wizard Online look to it nowadays.
Yeah.
Or it looks almost like clay or plastic.
I don't have fun with Rift. I actually tried this game back when it was a subscription game, and when it went free to play, I went back to it. I never got to the end game rating, but I had a good deal of fun. I think it was a very solid, fantasy MMORPG.
Yeah, I had fun too. I enjoyed the whole Rift mechanic and whatnot, and Guild Wars 2 always reminded me of that.
Yep. If you guys, go ahead.
I played when it was a subscription game, and I thought it was a really pretty game, and it barely ran well on my computer, so I played for about 15 levels and then quit. But I came back when it was free to play, and I'm like, this feels slow and clunky, and I don't remember not liking it this much.
Well,
I couldn't stand it. Like I came back and I couldn't stand it. It was too slow for me.
It was one of those. Well, yeah. Again, it was modeled after Vanilla WoW, which is also slow now if you go back and try. But it wasn't just a straight up clone like so many games are today.
Yeah.
When it came out, the class system was really different. There's like three tech tree. You picked 3 classes and you played them all at once. They did simplify it later. Like now it's a simplified version.
It sounds vaguely like Arcade.
Yeah. And then second, games like today, Guild Wars and Final Fantasy 14 have these dynamic events right on the maps. Rift actually pioneered that. It was the first one where there was all this stuff going on the map. When you kill, the big boss spawns, you all kill the boss.
Well, they inspired a lot of games, like you said. Guild Wars 2 that does that too now.
Yep.
And they made that really popular.
So I'm glad it's still around. If I guess not for long, maybe if this guy's accusations are true.
I mean, even if his accusations are true, it's not going to kill the game overnight. It's just it would signify their decline is ongoing.
I think it definitely isn't. This does prove it's in decline. If you have people like this on the dev team and the community team, they're clearly the B team at Trion at this point. You know, the A team is making
Trove and other stuff. Trove is doing well.
Yeah,
they're busy with Devilion.
Yeah.
Just a segue, we have one more controversy to discuss. This one is about a VR MMO called Paradise Island. Paradise Island is as exciting as it sounds.
I like the name.
Yeah.
It's a game no one would know about if it weren't for this and the fact that they give away 4 million keys for free.
4 million? How rare.
Not literally, but you know what I mean.
It's only 99 cents. There was a negative review came out accusing the developer of bribing him to change his review to a positive. He gave the reviewers some free CD keys and then promised him a free future game, which was Woodle Tree Adventures 2. I didn't even know about Woodle Tree Adventure 1, if he changed his review. He made the whole thing public on Steam and caused a bit of a shitstorm. The developer kind of handled himself well. What I saw, he was just like, yeah, whatever. He didn't even try to defend himself. He's like,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. But it's just funny. It just shows you that this kind of stuff does happen. Actually, funny enough, a post went up today. It was on another website from Divergence Online. People have been emailing or contacting the developer of Divergence and asking for free keys in exchange for positive reviews. Yeah. So it's funny that it actually does go both ways.
It goes both ways, yeah.
It's not just developers asking for positives.
I like Ethan Kasner's response though. He's like, if you guys were here and you paid for the Indiegogo, we would have been funded and we would have had like the game done by now.
What I'm hearing is the developer. The problem was the developer offered a pretty shitty bribe. All right, what? You give him a free copy of your shitty game that's not even out yet? You give him some shitty keys to the shitty game? Come on. What kind of bribe is that? That's a pretty half-assed bribe.
Oh, and I want to point out, because Reddit said this. Reddit said, some people on Reddit argued that it wasn't a bribe because money wasn't involved. I mean, like you said, the only thing that doesn't make it a bribe is that there was nothing valuable being...
Yeah, it was all due.
Bribe. But bribes aren't just money. A bribe can be anything, as long as it's valuable.
Whoa.
That's like journalists are bribed all the time with lunches and dinners, and you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, they don't fall for it usually.
Yeah. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Sometimes usually Chinese game developers are pretty more forward with their attempts to flatter game reviewers. So I've been offered like Amazon gift cards before to take a look at some games in a more favorable light, but it's pretty sketchy stuff. Not that I've never taken up their offers, but if I get offers, it's usually from them.
If you wine and dine me, I'll give you a nice review. Just wine and dine me. I want the whole bottle of wine, though. That's just all right.
It's got to be the expensive shit too, right? None of that $5 chucks.
No. That's $2 chuck.
Oh, $2 chuck.
$2. Isn't it $3 though in New Jersey?
I don't drink it, so I'm not really sure.
You don't drink it.
The $800 glass of scotch.
There you go.
Actually, Costco is like a $25,000 scotch or something. Whiskey.
Can you buy that in bulk?
You gotta get 10% off.
I want to buy it in bulk.
Well, it's an $800 glass, not bottle.
Oh wow. Oof. So I thought we had quite a few controversies this week, and by quite a few I mean 2. So that.
I mean, I do think the whole bribing thing, it happens a lot more than it's reported. I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with the games coming through green light.
Yes.
Both ways, all the time.
It happens a lot. We just don't hear about it for the most part because it's usually a cash bribe, and I suspect it usually.
You think so?
I think so. For example,
I don't think it's cash.
I want to say, for example, like even websites like the New York Times, for example, which are huge, reputable organizations, right? There are organizations out there, like online marketing organizations, which will give you links on the New York Times. And this is veering a little away from gaming, but it talks to the point of bribes. And they have a network of authors that are paid by the New York Times to produce content. And they'll sneak your link into their article, or they'll write the article based on your link, just so they can link to your website. And they'll do this for thousands of dollars in cash, because getting a link on the New York Times is mega valuable for marketing. So the same way that happens even on the highest level of journalism, come on. It's not going to happen in video game journalism, arguably one of the lowest levels of journalism.
Whoa.
Hey.
What journalism? What are you talking about?
What journalism?
There's no journalism. Just don't be a dick. That's it.
Basically, nobody thinks we're journalists. We're all online bloggers.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the hard truth.
Will the line between journalist and blogger blur completely in our
It
life?
has,
because
but it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't, because journalist means you went to college to get the degree for journalism.
Whoa.
No, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. I mean, I think that's a fair way to put it, but there's an objective standard that has to be followed. As
Oh my god.
You're
objective standards.
There's no. Ah, fuck it. I don't know enough.
All right, well,
Okay.
we'll continue this.
Do you want objective?
I got the objective.
Do you want
standard.
objective? Just take the press release, remove any words like amazing or great. That is objective.
There you go. I have a good standard too, okay? In order to be a journalist, you need to have a notepad and a pen, all right? At all times.
Yes.
You know what I do?
I actually, look, guys.
That was thanks to Erhan that I started doing that. So,
You must have a pocket protector.
Yes, that too.
I don't have that.
So, Sean and Erhan are official journalists because they got the notepads, all right?
They get the legal ones too. They're nice.
All right, well.
You mean this kind of notepad, or
No, that's
It's like
sticky note.
Post-its.
I don't count that.
that is Post-its?
All right.
All right, final thoughts, guys. I want to run through our Steam hauls. Matt brought this up in the pregame. So the holiday sale ended, I believe, yesterday morning.
Two
yesterdays ago.
About 25 hours ago, right now.
All right.
Oh,
Alright,
Hall,
so-
what do we buy?
I'll go first since I brought it up.
Okay.
I bought a 4-pack for a really old RTS called Rise of Nations.
And
I
it's on
played it
sale
last night.
again.
Is it? Well, I bought it on sale.
Yeah.
So okay. So this game,
yeah.
we played it last night with Omar and a friend of ours. Omar cleaned our clock 2v1.
Get wrecked.
Damn.
I streamed it too, so if you want to see
You
the
guys
old
can check it out on his stream. It was a
Easiest
fun
game of my life.
I liked it.
It was a fun
What
game.
else did you got?
I think we invited Sean to play, but he was too busy. Too cool for us.
Yes,
Cool.
I was way too busy. I'm a busy guy. I was on
So,
Pinterest.
let's see, what did I get? Oh yeah, I got Amalur finally, because the season pass and everything were like $10. I got Mortal Kombat X because it was cheaper to get the game than it was to get the season pass, like the game and the season pass. So I just went for it, and I got Evil Within because it got down to $16 with the season pass, and then I finally bought Rise, and that was it.
How's Evil Within?
I haven't downloaded it yet. It's 60 gigs.
Oh my god, that's
What?
massive.
Yeah, it's 60 gigs. Apparently, it runs natively at 21.9, but if you play it in a 21.9 resolution, it has black bars on the side because, and I quote, in a review it said, it has something to do with the gameplay and it figures in.
No, interesting.
I'm like, what?
Okay.
60 gigabytes. That's a lot of gigabytes, though.
A little too much.
It's a big download.
This looks pretty cool though. Oh, you like horror games?
Is it? Should I stream it?
Yeah. I think
Every horror game's good to
I think
stream.
it's up your alley.
All right.
Yo, when are we gonna stream Cry of Fear?
Yo,
Huh?
I
I still want to play that game. Multiplayer.
I
It's a
never
classic.
played multiplayer in that.
Forward your ports.
Yo.
Forward your ports.
Oh my
I
god.
got 2 routers. I can't do it. It's not happening. It's too much work.
But if it looks good, I'll stream it. My haul consists of. I actually only bought one game for the Steam sale because usually I just split with whatever everyone buys because we have access to the same Steam accounts. But I did buy Undertale because I've heard great things about that. I haven't played it yet. Probably plan on streaming that too eventually. But Undertale. Have you guys played it?
I also bought Undertale this Steam sale, but I have not played it yet.
I personally cannot buy Undertale for another 6 years or so because the fandom has made it so it's going to be like Final Fantasy VII. When I finally play it, it's going to be so overhyped that I'm just going to be like,
that's true.
And
go into it with
quit.
low expectations.
I really don't know much about it, except that I don't have to kill anything, so I'm glad I've stayed away from the fandom. I just know that it's well received, so I don't know. I never played FF7 still, so...
Really?
Gummy.
I guess I stayed away from that.
Your homework for next week is to beat FF7,
I've literally
right?
played every other Final Fantasy, including the first one, didn't beat it, but FF7.
All right.
Every single one. So, I like that. I like that. I like to keep it like that.
I think the damage for me is done, though. I think it's just like, I'm going to go into it, I'm going to say meh, and I'm going to quit, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to go back to Shin Megami Tensei now and bribe people to join my party.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Persona 5, all right? This year.
Yes.
This year. Hopefully we'll come out this year.
Persona 5 looks great, and the internet isn't going to spoil it for me like they did with Persona 4.
Yo, I love Persona 4. I liked it more than 3. A lot of people like 3 more, but I like Persona 4.
I liked 3 more. I liked,
there you go, see?
Yeah.
I only problem I didn't like with 3 was that giant tower. It's like, come on, I want a different environment. It was just going straight up
like...
like...
did that same spiel? Ys. The Legends of Ys?
I know, the...
Origins?
Origins,
yes. The giant tower. It's like the laziest form of like level design.
That's why Falgana was just better.
And Ark of Nepishtim. Or Nepishtim. Nepishtim. I'm going to say
okay.
that.
This guy's hyping up Undertale even more. On
Stop it. Don't build my expectations.
Undertale is life-changing.
Life-changing.
I think the other problem with Undertale is I've looked at screenshots people have posted, and it's like the dialogue is cringeworthy to me. I'm like, meme here, bad reference there, really like cringy. This is supposed to be indie charming dialogue here, and I'm just like, I can't play that. No,
They're dropping the dank memes. Dank memes.
I'm just sitting there like I can't read the internet half the time. I'm not going to be able to do this.
Well, I picked up Undertale. I picked up this War of Mine, and I'm never gonna play it. I know that much.
I bought that too.
Right? I bought that because of you.
I already forgot. I bought it. I'm the one who made you buy it.
Yeah. I'm never gonna play it. And then I bought the Talos Principle, which I also bought because of you. But I actually played that one, and that was enjoyable. It's actually challenging later on. So. I guess I had a pretty good haul, except, the 2 games I haven't touched at all yet, so the way she goes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
As always. My library, I think at least a quarter of my library is games I really haven't played. I can't honestly say I've played.
So
library, your Pokédex, I mean, come on, let's call it what it is.
Pokédex too, I don't use a quarter of those Pokemon at least, if not half. If not 99%.
I lied. I actually got Crisis 3 during the Origin sale too.
Crisis 3? Well, I have no interest in that.
It's actually kind of cool so far. Really pretty game. But I also played the first one, and I played Far Cry, the first one, on the hardest difficulty, and replayed so many sections so many times, it's not even funny. I was so patient with that game.
I played that in the hardest difficulty as well. That was fun.
I was so patient, because for a while there's that first time you have a tent that's actually in a spot where you have to take cover, and I'm sitting there like, why am I dying? I'm behind cover, and then I finally realized that the tent is not cover and they can shoot through it.
That moment.
Yeah, that game had really wonky AI from what I remember.
Had really difficult AI.
Yeah, I'm getting excited to play Undertale now. All this hype.
All right, so I'll go through our libraries. Don't let these games sit in your library unplayed. All right.
All right. I know I'm gonna play Undertale for sure. Plus, that horror game sounds interesting now.
Yeah, I gotta beat Talos Principle and this War of Mine. That's my homework.
Right.
I still have to beat Mad Max.
Cause I like streaming League and everything, but I like to mix things up, so I'll do some.
All right. With
other
that,
stuff.
guys, let's call it for the podcast, so we can stay on a little longer if you guys wanna.
The Q&A.
Yep, for the Q&A.
You have to do the Q&A.
All right.
Yep.
Well, take care, guys.
Later,
See
guys.
ya.
Peace.